What's good, everyone? Welcome back. I'm Greydy Diaz.
And I'm Boz Rozendaal, aka The Mountain.
You're watching the 10-minute sprint, and we're still shook. It's official. We lost our first 4 teams in the 3x3 tournament. We have another packed agenda today. We will name our players of the day, rank the biggest surprises, preview the semifinals. But before that, I want to know what stuck with you the most today.
Look, I've been waiting for this. This is something that can only happen once every 4 years. It didn't happen at the last Olympics. It was two teams playing each other twice in a row in international competition at this stage of 3x3. USA and China matched up in the last pool game and then got to play a playing game. I don't know, for 3x3 nerds like me, I think that's something really, really cool. What struck your nerve, though?
Ooh, for me, it was Hamby's game winner. The way that she held her follow-through, it's like she knew it was going in already, right?
Yeah, for sure. Look, let's get to this next section. I've been waiting for this. If you've been watching us, you know we have our little pre-show routine. Every day, we compete in a free throw contest. And Grady, what happened today?
My shot just wasn't dropping, so I'll accept the consequence and sneak in 3 words of your choice into my quick summary of the 6 games of the day. What do you have for me, boss?
Just mommy, no mid-range today for you. My 3 words today are microbe, ostrich, and zoom.
Really, boss?
Yeah.
All right, so let's start. Canada slipped away with a win just as small as a microbe against Azerbaijan. Michelle Plouffe showed up big with a team-high 8 points. Tiffany Hayes led her team with 9 points, 8 rebounds, and 2 key assists.
All right, for the next game, Germany keeps on getting it done. The team with the rockiest prep for the tournament due to injury once again came through, this time with the win over the Spaniards to secure first spot in the pool. Marie Reichert was clutch with a big bucket and some cash free throws in the last minute. Germany sealed it 18-15.
And in our next game, France pulled away with a 2-point overtime win against Australia thanks to a clutch shot from Paget. If you zoom in, that's a word.
Oh, yeah.
You can see that her shot release was faster than an ostrich running home. Not bad, right?
Hey, I like that.
She and Guapo combined for 13 points. Whittle took charge for the Aussies today with 8 points and 4 highlights.
Then a matchup I spoke on before, USA and China. They struggled to score in a very defensive contest with play-in spots on the line, obviously. Haley leaned into her lefty stroke, 6 out of 14 points for the USA, who got the win and set up the rematch with China.
And then Canada handed Australia their 2nd loss of the day. Casey Bosch was the X factor for Canada, and she dropped a game-high 9 points. Maylee and Whittle combined for 9 out of their 10 total points.
And she battled through that little wound she had too.
Yeah, there was a lot of blood.
Yeah, she battled through. Great game by her. Look, then we had USA and China again, right? The second time these teams matched up today. Not a defensive contest in this one. It was Hamby hitting shots deeper than soul searching to pick up an early lead for the USA. They kept their foot on the gas, and China couldn't find their touch from long range at all. USA won their 5th straight game and booked a spot in the semifinals. That's it. I mean, today was a blur. 6 games in total. Grady, tell me, which one was your favorite?
Ooh, there were quite a few good games today. My favorite was France versus Australia. Paget hit the game winner for France in overtime. Even though they are out of the tournament now, I think it was nice to see them end with the win in front of all of their fans.
Yeah, definitely one of the most emotional moments of the day. I don't think any one of us had predicted France would go out in a pool phase. Not even the queen of our predictor game, Greydy Diaz.
Listen, Boss has talked a lot of smack on the show, but credits to Vince for having an impressive day in the predictor game today. But what really matters are the overall standings. Let me ask the producer to pull up the rankings on the screen. Oh, there they are. Let's put them full screen, please.
All right. Grady remains in 1st. I stay in 5th. The only game that matters is the fantasy game anyway. And we have 4 guests today, so I guess it's time to move on to our next segments. Here are our final pool standings and the bracket for the women's tournament.
Boss, we got a ton of questions on social media about the pool standings. We did have a 4-way tie between Spain, USA, Canada, and Australia in the women's category. How did Spain get 2nd place and the direct pass to the semifinals?
All right, so in this 4-team tie, Spain and the USA each have 2 wins against the other teams in the tie, while Australia and Canada each have 1 win. The next tiebreaker then is the points average and in the pool phase. Spain scored 6 more points than the USA. Canada had 1 more point than Australia, which placed 4th. Australia finished 5th.
And after Canada beat Australia and USA beat China in the play-in quarterfinals, our semifinals are set with Germany facing Canada and Spain playing USA on Monday. We'll have a couple of guests to preview these games towards the end of the show, but for now, we wanted to say goodbye to the 4 teams who were eliminated today. Today, we said farewell to France, Azerbaijan, Australia, and China, and we did our own little ranking of what we considered the biggest surprise.
Yeah, I'll start at 4 with Azerbaijan because they didn't bring the level of success that other national teams had at the national team stage. I am very sad, though, to see Tiffany Hayes and her shoe game go home.
Me too. She was just so much fun to watch. When she turned it on, she was on the entire game.
For sure.
At 3, Australia was expected to do well, and they started the tournament off really strong. I certainly expected them to medal at the very least. Unfortunately, they looked to lose steam and were without Mansfield due to an injury, so being down 3 players just was not ideal for them.
For sure not. At 2, we have the bronze medal winners from the Tokyo Olympics, China. Tallest team in the tournament. They never got it going from the outside. They only shot 19% on 2s for the tournament, and unfortunately that means they're going home.
Yeah, and at 1, France. Because they came in with such high expectations, this team has won plenty of tournaments in the past and were playing on their home floor. They just never picked up steam, and it was clear that pressure got to them at times.
Our reporter Tristan actually spoke with Marie-Ève Paget after the Australia game. Let us play the audio for you.
Yeah, we took our time to say goodbye. It was really emotional because, with this kind of games that we made, even it's loss or even it's win, it was a tough game. And I think we showed to people that we deserve to be with the top team. Unfortunately, it's not this year, but it was important to show them that we deserve to be here and to show them to say thank you because they were amazing.
Yeah, and I can only imagine the pressure it was to compete at home. We mentioned in the first episode that the French media had France winning gold, but respect to Team France for finishing with a big win for the fans.
Yeah. All right, today our pick for Team of the Day goes to a team that had suffered 2 overtime losses yesterday. Canada bounced back today with a too close 21-19 against Azerbaijan, and a much more comfortable 21-10 win against Australia in the quarterfinal play-in. To help us unpack an incredible day, we are joined by Catherine Traer-Scrub, who actually played on the Canadian team with the Plouffe sisters and Paige Crozone a few years back. Catherine, first of all, how incredibly happy and proud do you feel right now?
I'm so happy. I'm so proud of the girls. 3-on-3 is such, an exciting game to watch. And after yesterday's 2 losses, and they were heartbreaking losses, obviously in overtime, I still had faith in them. I knew they would pull through today. But yeah, so proud of how they bounced back today. They did amazing.
Catherine, you know these girls inside and out. What makes this team so unique?
The clear, answer here is the Plouffe sisters. I think they're generational talent. You won't see that again, likely. I don't know if they're going to play again, if they're going to do a 4th Olympic run, because as we know, they're 2-time Olympians already. This is their 3rd. They are just, how often do you see 6'3" players handle the ball, pass the ball, shoot the ball, score like they do, and move their feet on defense like they do? It's so impressive. And obviously the chemistry they have together, those 4, is undeniable as well. But the Plouffe sisters are just such an amazing talent to watch together, for sure.
You could consider them kind of the unicorns of the women's game in 3x3, right? Being that tall, playing at that level. Look, I think we were supposed to have some audio, but I'm getting that we're not getting that. So Catherine, we want to thank you for hopping on. Actually, no, I got one more question for you before you leave. If you had to pick, all girls played fantastic, right? If you had to pick, who was your MVP for Canada today?
I gotta give it to my redhead girl, Casey Bosch. She did amazing today. I think, teams did such a good job covering the Plouffes today. But Casey came out big time, 9 points in a play-in game. That's amazing. I'm so proud of her. She did exactly what she needed to do.
Absolutely. I actually agree with you there. Thank you so much, Catherine, for joining us, and enjoy the games on Monday.
Thank you. Thank you.
So we elected our team of the day. It's time to move on to player of the day. Only women's today, obviously. So each of us have one pick. Who do you have?
I have Casey Bosch, of course.
Oh.
She was hooping. She played out of her mind today. 9 points, P-Val of 12.1, which is, again, very impressive for her. And she was everywhere on offense, on defense. I mean, she even got that injury today with blood, and she came right back in after.
Yeah,
and scored.
Yeah, and I like, because she said after the game, which is something I caught, that her teammates kept faith in her because she didn't have the greatest offensive games of the tournament, so that certainly paid off. For me, I got to go with Sonja Greinacher, Sonny G. She's leading the Germans in scoring at 5.7 points per game, and she came up big again in a win against Spain, 5 points, and a lot of veteran leadership, you know, picking up Mavius when it wasn't going too well. Germany got their 6th win and got the first in the women's pool. Greinacher is hitting 50% of her shots from long range, which is wild because she's playing with a broken hand. So I got to give it to Sonny G. That's
pretty amazing, but I do have to say Casey Bosch was 100% in her 9-point game today.
Yeah, you're right.
Who else? Who else had that performance?
You're fully right.
So
all right.
I would love to know from the fans in the comments. Let us know who you think was the player of the day.
All right. Well, let's get to our top scorers on the women's end. If you take a look here, we've grayed out the players that are no longer in the tournament. Let's go through them, though. Hayes, another 9 points for her in a loss against Canada, ended at 54 points. And then Wilson and Whittle. Wilson actually only had 5 points in that game against Spain. Whittle had 8 points in that one. Now, the playing games didn't count, right? So these are only the pool games that we see here. We'll go back to get more points on the board while we go into the medal rounds. So we'll see the Plouffe sisters rise on the board just a little bit now in 4th and 5th.
All right, and now to our Fantasy League ranking. As you all know by now, Boss and I compete in an exclusive fantasy league with 3 other experts, Jordan Robinson, Kyle Montgomery, and Vince Chang. And look, I'm a little sad. I know the rankings look good for me. I'm nearly at the top of the mountain, but I lost half of my team when Australia lost to Canada in the play-in. So long, Alex Wilson and Marina Whittle. Thank you so much for everything you did for me. I appreciate Boss, how many players did you lose?
I only lost Mingling Chen when USA beat China. For the rest, I'm still enjoying my time at the top of the league, and I'm still reminiscing a little bit about all these confident messages we got from the other experts. Don't remember? Let me refresh your memory.
But it's all right. I'm the queen. Just give me my crown now.
All right, so first, let me thank all of my fellow draft participants for making the road to victory so easy for me. I literally could have been on auto pick for the draft.
We go #1. Peace.
It's the confidence for me.
Let me take that crown, Jordan, and let me just...
No. Let me take it.
All right, well, after all of that, let's look in on Paris.
So every day we will call a member of our team who brings us behind the scenes in Paris. And today we welcome back to our show FIBA3x3 reporter Tristan. Tristan, how are you?
Very well, thanks for having me on the show.
That's great. There were so many emotional reactions today after the games. Is there one in particular that stood out to you?
Yeah, there certainly were. I'll probably have to go with my compatriots, Australia, who were absolutely shattered and devastated after they lost against Canada. I don't think they could believe what happened. I mean, they were so close to qualifying for the semis against France. They lost that, and they got blown away by Canada for the second straight time of the tournament. And yeah, they were absolutely devastated after the game. Annalie Maley, who puts a lot of wears a heart in her sleeve. She really broke down after the game. It was quite heartbreaking, really, to see her so emotional, and she's such an ambassador for 3x3, especially in Australia. So she was absolutely devastated, but you know, she said after the game that it's going to steal her and the team. So yeah, that was some scenes that you'll probably never ever forget if you were there, and you can contrast that with just behind the Australian team in the media zone was Canada, and they actually had tears of joy. So it's just quite incredible, the contrasting scenes and what sport can do in 3x3, so cutthroat, of course. So while Canada were jumping for joy and hugging and celebrating, we had Australia just meters away, and they were in tears and really breaking down. But it was really great to see, though, the the teams get together actually and hug, and just really shows the spirit amongst the 3x3 community. So everyone's pretty tight, and yeah, it's such a cutthroat tournament, of course, and it's the Olympics, a big stage. So yeah, it's the emotions are there to see, and it was something we'll never forget.
Yeah, for sure. Hey, look, I got to ask you this. Today we transitioned from a relatively long pool phase to a knockout win-or-go-home stage. How much of an impact did it have on the crowd? How different was the atmosphere in the stadium?
Yeah, it definitely does feel a little bit different. The first few days, I think it was a little bit more of a party zone. Everyone was just settling in and relaxing and having a good time. But you can feel now there's a little bit more tension in the air, and with the stakes raised, and it was do or die for several teams today. So you can definitely feel that atmosphere in the crowd. While it's still loud and energetic, there is just a little bit more nerves in the crowd, a lot more anticipation, especially when you see fans from the teams that are competing on the half court. Yeah, it's definitely starting to feel like the business end of the tournament. So I can't imagine what it's going to be like when the teams are fighting for the semi-finals. So yeah, it's definitely heating up. So it's definitely it's going to be really, really interesting to see what happens in the back in the tournament. The atmosphere is still incredible, but there's definitely tension in the air.
Absolutely, and we'll be watching. So thank you, Tristan, for joining, and thank you for getting us all of these amazing post-game interviews that we've been playing on our show.
So every day I dissect some of the most lethal set plays in the game, and today we focus on a team that's made its way to the semifinals, Team Canada. Let's watch the clip. Today on Tactics, we're talking about Team Canada. They run what's called a Spain pick and roll to get their best shooter, Paige Crozon, an open look from beyond the arc, as visible here at the World Cup 22 in Antwerp against Chile. The setup is as follows. Casey Bosch is set up over here with her defender. Then Paige Crozon on the wing, and they have Kat Plouffe over here on the high post. Her defender, they've targeted her because she plays a drop coverage, which means she stays down below the screen. So what happens is they run a interchange with Crozon coming in here for a screen for Bosch, who moves over to this side. And right when the Crozon screens, it's Kat Plouffe hitting the defender for Crozon with a screen. She goes up, gets set up over here. This defender is down here, so no contest on the open two for Paige Crozon. This play works because Canada have identified early in the game that one of the defenders on the opposite side of the ball wants to stay down. They've targeted her, gotten an open look out of that.
Thank you for making me feel like a 3x3 coach. You did a good job.
Thank you.
Of course. Boss, we thought it would be good to start having an early look at the two semifinals, which will take place on Monday. And we start with the game between Germany and China.
Look, obviously we have to bring a guest on for this, right? So our first guest, Amma Degbion, has played with some of our Olympians on the German national team. Amma, how are you?
I'm good. Thank you for having me. Excited to watch the games.
Thank you for joining us. Amma, we play a predictor game on the show, and I'm not gonna lie, nobody had Germany finishing top of the pools. How much did they surprise you as an insider?
Well, I'm not gonna lie either. I'm not surprised that they're in the semifinals, but I was a bit surprised that they finished the top of the pool, just not because they're not a good team. They're very good, they're playing very well, but it's just such a competitive set of teams. And it's very tough to win 6 games, and winning 6 out of 7 is really amazing, and they showed that they can, be in the semifinal.
All right, so Amma, I gotta know, how do you think Germany match up against Canada? And specifically, what did you see in their pool game earlier this week to give you some confidence?
I think what's a good matchup is that, as like Canada, Germany has 2 tall players, so I think that kind of evens out the matchup. But I think Germany, as well as Canada, they're very routine. They know each other very well. They know what they're looking for, so I think it's a pretty good matchup for them.
Thank you so much, Amma, for joining us. Enjoy the rest of the Olympic tournament.
Thank you.
So for our next guest, she's won the FIBA3x3 America Cup with the United States in 2021. Blake Dietrich, welcome to the show. How are you?
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
There we go.
Hi, Blake.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Of course, it's great to have you on the show, a fellow Massachusetts rock star. What a roller yes, what a roller coaster of emotions for the United States. Tell us what feelings you went through this week watching the USA women going from 0-3 at the start to now a 5-game winning streak.
Yeah, that was a little stressful at the beginning, a little bit hard to watch, but we have really turned it around. I think it just shows this team hadn't played together, hadn't practiced together very much, and now we see how they're learning through playing. They're learning through every single game, and they look ready to go for this semifinal.
All right, so Blake, the USA have Spain next. How do you think the girls match up against them? And again, I asked our last guest the question, but what do you think happened in the pool game to give them an advantage?
I think they match up really well with Spain. Spain has an amazing duo in Igueravide and Jimeno, and I think as long as the US can control those two and not give up a lot of twos from them, I think they'll be just fine. And then on the other side, if Ryan and Dierica and Haley can hit their twos, then I think we'll be all set.
All right, Blake, once again, thank you so much for hopping on the show.
Thank you.
All right, so we focused on the women's action in the show. The men's tournament is back tomorrow with the last pool games and the start of the knockout round.
So we're back tomorrow again with just 6 games, all in the women's category. What will we do with all this spare time? I'm not quite sure. What are you going to do?
Probably hoop.
Sounds good to me.
Yeah.
The day will start with the last 4 pool games, and we'll finish with 2 winner-go-home games, one between the team ranked 3rd and the team ranked 6th in the pool, the other between the teams ranked 4th and 5th.
Look, only 4 predictions for all of our experts tomorrow. And we didn't exactly show much originality here. Jordan took a flyer on China against France. For the rest, we're all on the same page, which unfortunately means I am stuck at the bottom of the league for another day.
At this stage, we only know 4 of the games which will be played on Sunday. We'll definitely keep an eye on that Serbia-Lithuania matchup, which was the final of the World Cup just 2 years ago. But surprise, surprise, someone picked the Netherlands.
Look, this one's rivalry is a little bit personal to me. My Netherlands against the USA. 5 games in national team competition history, and the USA are up 3-2. Look, apparently the footage is too old to be shown, but I was on the court for 2 of those 5 games with a close loss in 2016 at the World Cup and a win on the same stage in 2017. Hopped on the mic for the very first time when the United States silenced everyone in Amsterdam with a win over the Dutch in the pool phase at the World Cup in 2019 on their way to a win for the entire tournament. Then the Dutch took revenge at the OQT, stopping America from getting to the Tokyo Olympics. So look, very personal to me. I wouldn't pick a team without a sub though, but if Barry keeps playing like this, I might lose some sleep tonight.
Listen, we actually have a surprise for you, boss. Not your prom night photo, the one we're saving for the last episode, actually. We have a clip of you bringing it down against the USA. Check it out.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, a slow-mo too. It's a long time ago. I had a little bit more hop.
It hit us with every angle.
Yep.
I love that.
Look, I like that a lot. Well, thanks, Grady. Can you tell me what's on your top 5 lists going to tomorrow, though?
Of course. At 1, I can't wait. At 1, I can't wait to see the elimination game drama come to the men's tournament. It's a win or go home. Second, I have loved how much the French fans have cheered for their teams. Now that the women are out of the tournament, I expect the fans to roar in the France-China game on Sunday. Before I joined, they told me Dr. Strange was the best player in the world. I have seen the mixtapes, but he ranks 18th out of the 32 in the scoring charts. Will the real Dr. Strange please stand up? You heard Boss speak so emotionally about USA-Netherlands rivalry. You have seen the baby dunk. I can't wait to see their next matchup on Sunday. And last but not least, they have been perfect so far the last few games, but that have been very intense. Will Latvia stay undefeated at the end of the pool phase? We'll have to see.
Look, that was more than a baby dunk. But Grady, I got some bad news. I don't really want to, but it's already time to end the show. Thank you again for another great episode.
And thank you, Boss, for being such a great co-host. And thank you all for watching. If you enjoyed the show, please drop a like, a comment, subscribe, give us a shout out on social media. This was the 10-Minute Sprint, episode 7. Take care, and we'll see you tomorrow after the games. Same place, same time.
Bye-bye.
Bye.